Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. I know it's been a few days since I've been did one because it's been about a week. Because I've been trying to straighten out my computer. The computer itself is fine, but I had a problem with my antivirus software. Got a new version. I'm still trying to make it work. It's still not working yet properly. Hopefully, get that thing done eventually. Whenever I have the time to do it, it's a problem. Been a miracle we had time to do these videos. But for the subject of this video, I'm going to be doing the latest X-Men movie, X-Men Apolalypse. And let me put it this way. These movies, I don't have anything against the X-Men movies personally. Because I used to watch the 90s cartoon, which was a kick-ass cartoon. And brought back some of the, what's great about this superhero Saturday morning cartoons, and the X-Men was the Saturday morning cartoon on the Fox network, which is now unfortunately lost story. But with the X-Men movies, it's like, especially the more recent ones, it's been like very very low plot and just straight action from beginning to end, and it's kind of like the new Star Wars movie Rogue One, which is pretty much all action and very very extremely low plot. And if you blinking, you miss it. So X-Men Apolalypse is about the first. It's almost kind of like a direct sequel to the X-Men movie that came before, but the X-Men Days of Futures Past, because it's almost the same cast. And also you have a brief cameo by Hugh Jackman, of course, it's Wolverine, or played Wolverine, even though that he is now. Or at least what is concerned with Hugh Jackman is kind of like tired of playing the part and is pretty much giving up on it because of all the work he has to do to keep himself in shape for the part. Anyway, X-Men Apolalypse is because it's a movie based on the first mutant, and I think the one of the biggest and not the big outside of maybe Magneto, and it's probably the biggest villain. It's definitely in the top three of villains in the X-Men universe. At least the ones that I remember from the X-Men cartoon. And of course, Magneto, Apolalypse, and maybe Juggernaut. It's probably the three biggest villains in the X-Men universe. At least those that I remember watching since I was a kid. When the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends cartoon came out, they were like the three biggest. Well, at least. Magneto and Juggernaut was featured in way back in the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends cartoon back in the early 80s, and so Apolalypse was featured in the 90s X-Men cartoon. So those characters were like huge cartoons. Huge villains, and that's the premise of practically all on Apolalypse and how to really stop him. It doesn't say who he is, it doesn't say what he is, for the most part. It says who is this guy? At first, most of the X-Men were like, who the hell is this guy? And they found out that during research of this character for the movie, like I said, you blink in the scenes and you miss it because it's practically all action. Like I said, we found out that he was what was called like the first mutant. And his power was he would transfer when he's about to die. He would transfer his consciousness to a younger body, and he was doing that during the whole time through the whole Egyptian days. With the early Egyptians, and then you had, of course, he somehow got trapped in a tomb because his tomb was attacked because the Egyptians fought back against Apolalypse. Because he said it was, acting himself as a god, and actually they threw all the gods out, I guess, and they attacked him. Kind of like what was in the old Mummy movies in the Universal canon. Kind of like what he did with this character, turning the Egyptians are talking about. They attacked this character, and they encased him in this tomb, and about over 3,000 years later, or 5,000 years later, because when 2016 when the movie came out, he was found, and he started immediately taking over everything and started to destroy the world and make it to a world to a quote unquote better place. And he was slowly destroying the world. And of course, you had the X-Men decide, who by this point had been pretty much disbanded, and Charles Xavier is just having a school with the students, and that's it, not quote training them to use their powers right. And they found out, hey, this guy is, we're going to stop this guy. So they go to Egypt and they're trying to beat him, anything possible. And one of the big stars is Jennifer Lawrence playing Mystique. Even though she was not called Mystique for most of the movie, she was called not Rogue. She was called something else. I forgot what her character's name was. I just saw the movie a couple of days ago, and I forgot what her name, because of all this drama I'm going through with the antivirus software. I'm blanking out the character's name. Probably come to me after I do this video. So she was like the big hero stopping. For some reason, Mystique in the comic books and in the cartoons was mostly the villain. But in the early X-Men movies, she was the villain. This time, all of a sudden, she's a hero. I guess maybe because she was played with Jennifer Lawrence, they made her out to be a hero in this thing. And she gathered some. On the other X-Men, she got Nightcrawler. You also saw the early storylines for Cyclops. And of course, the Cyclops, or Scott Summers' brother, who spoiler, dies in this movie. Because Apocalypse kills him, so he dies in this film. And so Scott or Cyclops takes over, and he's a powerful villain. And of course, you also see Charles Xavier losing his hair, and he's reunited with his girlfriend Moira McDermott, because she was the one who actually finds the Apocalypse tomb in the beginning of the film. And so it's to me, it's like almost like a disorganized mess, almost, because the way I'm describing it, and I felt that way. I was looking forward to seeing this movie. So at least I may have a recent movie to talk about. But it was just a disorganized mess. Well, of course, long story short, they do defeat Apocalypse at the end of the movie. After he destroys Egypt, and destroys Europe for the most part. They do save the world, and then at the end of the film, they do go back and Charles Xavier had to change their heart and say, okay, we're going to train these mutants to use their powers and to use them for good. And that's pretty much how this movie ended. And sorry about that. Sorry about that. So Charles Xavier decides to change these people's lives for good, and to use their powers for good. And of course, like I said earlier, they do have a cameo appearance by Wolverine when he escapes from where he was, and to help. Somehow he got out. And Cyclops says, hey, I hope we never have to fight this guy, because he's a real tough mother. And, other than that, I don't really have that much to say about this movie, because it was a disorganized mess. And I like my superhero movies to build to the climax. It did build to a climax in some way, but it was way too much action and not enough plot. And when X-Men Apocalypse came out last year, it did receive mediocre reviews because of that. Because of that reason. So let me review of X-Men Apocalypse. Please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all of my reviews not only on my YouTube channel, but at rallyc.com. That's all WDY, C.com. There's a homepage to the Rally Reviewer. Click listening more, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.